when you say resonance between the two people, what was it you found that was better about working in groups than working alone, aside from the individual training?
If you had a fairly intractable or an issue that needed addressing, it wasn't overbearing to the extent it was addressed. Look, if you come to me and you can't squat and we're going to work together for an hour, I'm going to be up your ass for an hour on why you can't squat. In a group, I might like, dude, we got to fix that. I might come back and come on, we got to fix it. But I think it was maybe a little more enjoyable experience. You could find yourself shirking a little bit to get through. But that's the minor aspect of this. The major aspect here, Greg, that really made the difference is the camaraderie. And I actually had a Captain Michael Perry of 1st Special Forces Group gave me a phone call one day out of the blue, and he says, "Coach, you've taught me something critical here." He goes, "I'm an Army captain. I'm an SF captain, and I've long known the importance of camaraderie, and we work for it wherever we can get it. But we've learned through CrossFit the formula for camaraderie, and I can now duplicate it anywhere." I go, "Captain, what's that?" He goes, "It's agony coupled with laughter." And I knew at once. I go, "You're fucking right, man. I get that, because collapsing, sweating, complete and total physical failure, coupled with a bunch of people folded over, laughing their asses off, not at the person down and out, but just at something else. There'd always be a moment if you were doing a one-on-one or I'm talking to someone, you go, like, what happened? What was that? Because everyone's just, and it's like kids. I don't know if you got kids, but when they're off somewhere and the laughter starts, that's when you go, uh-oh, what's going on over there, And often it was something a little bit off color, or it was cute, but there was an interaction with the group that you'd never in a million years see in a Bally's, Worlds, Golds, LA Fitness. In that environment, you come in, you do your own workout. You might be someone you talk to at the water fountain. You may even bring your own music to tune the world out. It used to be the Walkman. Now it's the iPhone or iPod. Everyone's doing their iPods. But I knew people in the old days that would put a pair of earphones in and just stuck the other end into their pants so no one would talk to them. Just to keep people from interacting with them. We saw a lot of that in the old days. And people were there to have a singular, private, unique experience. They're almost like renting the space from the gym owner, leasing the space and equipment, and they wanted to work out by themselves. Our environment is very, very different than that. You don't have an option but to interact with others, and they will. And if they get a sense that you're a little bit keeping to yourself, they're going to be in your face. You're going to get bothered. And what we find is that I could take a big poll of people. I don't care if 40% of the people tell me I prefer to work out by myself, unfettered by go on and on. 9 out of 10 of those are going to find the group experience is a much better workout experience. I'll tell you the other thing that happens too is performance goes up immediately. Yeah. Immediately. So I'm sitting in the morning getting a warm up on a Concept 2 rower at 4:45, and I'm cruising on this thing, and someone comes in and walks over and turns around and looks, and I pick it up 50 watts just because they're fucking looking, We all give more of ourselves in the presence of others, always. And so this is one of the key seminar experiences that people will come in and go, I have a 7-minute Fran, I heard about a 3-minute Fran, and I understand a 6-minute Fran, make my numbers easy here. I got a 6-minute Fran, Greg Collins has got a 3-minute Fran, I wasn't sure how he did it, and now I understand he's hurting twice as much as I do. I'm not giving of myself what I could. It's funny that didn't come across in film. There was no way you could write about it, but they'd be their person and sit and go, look at that guy, he's fucked up. And then they'd get up and go, okay, now I got it. And the guy does a 4.5-minute Fran, where his prior PR had been 6. So it's just seeing that now I get the real cost. There's this misapprehension that you're going to do these workouts long enough and they're going to get easier and your times will improve. It doesn't work that way. You try harder and harder, it only gets worse, it only gets harder, it only takes more out of you. It never gets any better until you go back to an old time where you find, yes, the 6-minute Fran today is half as hard as the 6-minute Fran was 2 years ago. But I'm not doing 6-minute Frans anymore. I can make myself do one. I now have a 4-minute Fran, and I fucking hate it, So there's a coming face to face with the reality that you get only back what you give, and people extend themselves places they've never been before. And there's a critical life lesson there. Super critical. It's one of the most important things I can teach someone, to dig deep and give of themselves beyond what they would have assumed they had the capacity to do. It's probably the best part of being a trainer, is having people like, oh my God, I didn't know I could do that. Seeing a gal who comes in afraid of heights, 60 pounds overweight, now 6 years later competing in the Masters division, and the gal can, you know, like she was a fat old lady. Now she's young and competing. That's Sally State, by the way.
I like that.
First time she climbed the rope, she cried like a baby. And I'm, why is everyone crying? I'm going to tell the story. I look at her, she hugs me. I'm crying. Greg Amundsen's crying. Annie Sakamoto's crying. And fucking even Tony Budding's crying, you know? You just like, you know, and if you how can you be numb to that? So this is someone's grandma who just climbed the rope. And yeah, it's amazing.